what am I doing to make Salem better? Oh my God.
Stop snooping on the questions, Kennedy.
Jeez.
Come on. All right.
I'm not getting arrested.
You're already my biggest pain in the ass interview.
That was good. Victory is mine. Did you think this was going to be easy?
At least it is fun. I'll give you that. It is fun. All right. Well, you already know all the damn questions. So, Mr. Kennedy, how long have you lived in Salem?
Well, I came to Salem back when I was in college, and I fell in love with the city. And so I was kind of living here off and on, like just staying with people off and on throughout going to college and then after. And so I moved here back in probably 1993. Okay. And then moved away in 2001 for some other purposes and came back in 2010 just because I missed the place. This is the town that I kind of just fell in love with. It's a city that really means a lot to me. It has this feel to me that is sort of creative blue collar, where you have people who are creative standing right next to somebody who's just been working construction, and everybody gets along really well. And that's one of the things that I really fell in love with the city about. It just felt like home to me as soon as I walked in.
So, creative blue collar. So, do you feel like that is still the case from '93 till now?
It's definitely changed. I think that probably the ratio is a little different than it used to be. It feels like there's probably more blue collar. There's more creative now than there was back in the 90s, back in the 80s and 90s. Salem was a rough town back in those days, and it doesn't have quite that rough feel to it anymore, which is probably a good thing.
What brought you to, I'm assuming you went to Salem State?
Yes.
Where else did you apply, and why did you end up at Salem State?
I applied to just a couple of other schools, honestly, and I wanted to become a marine biologist.
Really?
Huh. Yeah, and I laugh, not that I'm laughing at marine biologists, but it's more just, it was so not me. I was in a class called invertebrate zoology, and it was on a Monday, and I had just walked into class. I was hungover from hanging out with my friends, and one of the upperclassmen said, "Did you go to the amoeba exhibit in Harvard?" And I was like, "No, I was drinking with my friends." And my midterms reflected that, so it was time to change my major. And then I discovered that Salem State had a radio station, and that's when it all completely changed.
So, do you find... Is that how, if someone saw you on the street in Salem, how would they know you? How would a Salem local on Essex Street know Chris Kennedy?
They might know me from having worked in the radio business. I worked at WFNX, WROR, and WBOS. They might know me from just being around town. I run a annual event here at Notch that we do for raising money for a children's hospital, and so I'm constantly popping around to businesses and hitting them up to donate to it, and so they might know me from all of those.
Tell me about when you went from at Salem State. So you discovered the radio station. What was that discovery like, from invertebrates to records? What did you discover about it that you liked so much?
How did you make the leap from invertebrates to records?
Yeah. The music industry is full of a lot of invertebrates too, so,
That's perfect. It was a process. I tuned into the radio station, and I had always been into radio. I had always loved listening to the radio at night, and I was really into music. And so this gave me an opportunity to just kind of explore some of that, and I wanted to see if I could do it. And I didn't really have any focus at that time. I was just kind of floundering and discovered the radio station, found out I could do it fairly well. And
What do you mean by do it? What does that mean?
Just, hop on the mic, have something to say, have something intelligent, hopefully, to say, have something that's engaging to listeners, hopefully, so. And I think that I kind of, it was kind of natural to me. It kind of felt natural to me, so.
What was, like you were talking about, being hungover and not seeing the invertebrate exhibit at Harvard.
It was an amoeba exhibit.
The amoeba, specifically amoebas. What was Salem like as a 20-something in 1993 versus what it's like now? What are the changes that you've seen?
Dramatic. It's dramatic. First of all, there were really only probably 2 or 3 restaurants in the area that you could even go to. Now there's a whole scene that happens at night. There's music that goes on in multiple places. The Gulu, Kodo, there's just lots of music to be seen, lots of music to be listened to. That wasn't so prevalent back in the 90s. Salem downtown in 1993 was pretty dead.
Yeah.
You'd go there at nighttime and there just wasn't much happening. And now there is. There's all kinds of things going on. And Salem also has all these great festivals. So the city has grown quite a bit over the past 20 plus years.
Was the radio station, other than you liking it and being good at it, was that your nightlife at that point? Is that what it became for you?
I found my people there.
Yeah.
So I really did. I found people that I could relate to, and we were all just a bunch of little misfits that just came together for a common cause, and that was we really loved music and we really loved doing radio and just having fun with, just being silly and stupid on the radio and just telling stories, and we just fell in love with that. And these are people who to this day I'm still very good friends with and still very close with.
Yeah. So there wasn't a very far jump geographically from WMWM, which is the Salem State radio station, did you go directly to WFNX from there?
I wound up working at a radio station in Haverhill for a little while called WHAV, which I don't even know if it's on the dial anymore, to be honest. I don't think it is. It was an AM station. And I interned at FNX, and I turned the internship at FNX into a full-time job.
And how long were you there for?
At FNX?
Yeah.
Full-time, I was on the air from 1989 to 2001.
Yeah.
And so, 12 years. But I had interned for a couple of years prior to that.
And then you were at a couple of other Boston area radio stations too. Is there any how long ago was your last radio shift?
It was 2008. I remember my last day working for WBOS was Leap Day 2008.
Whoa, weird.
It was very surreal.
Yeah.
Just get an email and it was like, hey, we're going in a different direction. So
the old format changed. The different direction.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're all out the door. Have a nice day. So yeah.
Do you miss it at all? Do you miss that?
I miss
being that public figure kind of aspect to your life. Because you are, but not really when you're in radio.
Right, not really. One of the things that I liked about radio was that if you could be standing next to someone who was a listener of the station at a store and they would not know who you were, unless you spoke, then you were toast. So I liked the idea that you could just kind of fly under the radar a little bit. And yet if you wanted to, you could then just let people know that that's who you were. So yeah.
So since your radio days, you've been local to Salem since then?
Yes.
What have you done in and around Salem since? Have you worked in and around Salem since then? Or
Mostly
what have you been
in Boston.
Doing? Yeah, really?
Mostly in Boston. I worked in educational publishing for a lot of years in Boston, and it was. I love the idea that you can get into the city in just a matter of 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Barring traffic, but
Sure.
45 minutes. That was a lot of fun. Yeah.
Do you feel like do you feel connected to Salem? Do you feel like you are because I feel like you're an integral part of the city. It's funny,
Yeah.
You're not a city councilor. You're not, a politician. You're not, a business owner. But yet, there'd be a certain gear missing if there wasn't Chris Kennedy in Salem.
Yeah, it's because I've always
I assumed you were from here.
Right, most people do.
To that point,
Most people do. I think it's so. I mean, I grew up in a small town, 45 minutes from here, and in that town, it was a nice place to grow up, but. I don't look like everybody else. I have a physical disability. So every time I would go to the grocery store, it would be pointed out. Someone would be staring. Someone would be looking at me weird or doing something. And when I came to Salem, that didn't happen as much. Salem has all kinds of strange and unique people. And so I immediately loved that. I immediately felt like, wow, these people are mine. I belong here. I belong with these folks. And it really felt like home. Just instantly. And it's been the only place, and I've lived in other places too. I've lived in Cambridge, I lived in Medford, I lived in the town that I grew up in, Tewksbury, and here, and just this place has always meant it to me. It's always just felt like home.
Yeah. What are you doing? What are you doing to make Salem a better place?
What am I doing to make Salem a better place? Well, I'm in the process of working on a certification for a career coach. And so one of the things that I want to do is really help people here figure out what direction they want to make, if they're making a career choice decision, if they want to improve their lot in life, trying to figure out how they want to go about getting a raise, going through all of the things that you would normally question about your own personal careers. So, helping them write resumes. I want to work to help people, reach their full, full status, their whatever it is that they're aiming for, and reach their goals in life. So that's what I'm doing to at least work with the people. In terms of the overall city itself, I think just keep spreading the word to everybody that I know, which is why everybody thinks I'm from Salem, because when you see me outside of Salem, I'm talking about Salem a lot.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the fact that I can look out my kitchen and see the ocean. I'm talking about the fact that I can walk to restaurants downtown that are really good restaurants. I'm talking about the fact that I can go to the Salem Film Festival and go to these great stores, and just there's always something going on here, and it just feels like home to me.
Yeah. Chris Kennedy, thank you.
No problem. My pleasure.